Welcome to Everything Wrestling with Mr. Everything. I am the one and only Mr. Everything. And tonight I'm going to do a Smackdown recap for May 16th, which I was live for in person in Greensboro Coliseum. And I want to say not only being there, but I also watched it back. And I feel like this Smackdown was one of the better Smackdowns over the last few weeks. It was a pretty good show, although it was still 3 hours. It was a great show. And even before Smackdown, there was a quick speed match between Ivory Nile and Kalani. And Ivory Nile would pull out the win. And of course, with the music playing, there was a lot of "you suck" chants for Ivory Nile. They got a couple oohs and ahs, but speed matches are only 3 minute limits. So SmackDown would kick off with Solo Sikoa, JC, and Jacob Fatu coming out to the ring. And of course, man, I love Solo's entrance. He's got the music, he's got the pyro. Is pretty cool interest to see, especially live. And what happened was Solo would introduce Jeff Cobb as JC, as in JC Mateo. So we get a name change with his WWE arrival, and Sikoa was pretty much saying that he expects for himself to win Money in the Bank. He was saying that Jacob Fatu is champion because of JC. He was pretty much taking the credit for Jacob Fatu holding on to his title, and as he ran off reasons why, he was interrupted by Jacob Fatu, and Jacob Fatu was pretty much saying, "I told you before, you get in where you fit in. Pretty much, if you're not down with it, get out the way." Hit him with the all gas, no brakes line. And when he said, "Yada I mean," Solo interrupted him and said, "Yada I mean, yada I mean." Yes, we do know what you mean. Being pretty much antagonizing Jacob Fatu, and he was pretty much saying he's doing everything for Jacob because he loves Jacob. At one point, he even asked Jacob, like, "What was that thing you used to say to me all the time? You used to say, like, what was that thing you used to say to me?" So Jacob turned to him and said, "I love you, Solo," but like in a calm, "I love you," like not the hands together, "I love you, Solo," not like the way it was getting over at a point. And he was like, "That's not it. That's not it." And he was pretty much saying that's not how you used to say it. And then LA Knight came out, he pulled out JC Mateo out the ring, quick attack, and as Solo and Jacob Fatu went after him, he disappeared into the crowd. Well, ran off into the crowd. And then shortly after that, it was a backstage segment where Alexa Bliss and Michin were talking with Chelsea Green, which led to a triple threat Money in Bank qualifier. And Alexa Bliss, Chelsea Green, and Michin put on a very good show. Like, not match of the night. Trust me, we'll get there. But it was a very good show. I think Michin continues to impress, but it's like she's not at that top tier level yet. She's still very much mid card. Alexa Bliss was very impressive. She hit Twisted Bliss. She hit Sister Abigail. Um, Towards the end of the match, Chelsea Green hit Done Pretty. I'm not sure what she actually calls it for a move. And just as she's celebrating after the move, and Alexa pulls Michin up, Alexa gets in and hit the Sister Abigail. Now, as far as this match goes, I feel like it was a great qualifier match. Everyone got to show their skill. The Secret Herbalist was banned from ringside after B-Fab told him backstage because she wants her and Michin to go for the women's tag titles, even though Liv's away shooting a movie. After Alexa won, she ran into Charlotte Flair, and she was pretty much telling Charlotte Flair, like, "When I was coming up in NXT, you were the only person that had my back." And Charlotte was like, she didn't remember, and Charlotte pretty much said she never cared, which seems like it's leading to something between Alexa and Charlotte. I could see them costing each other Money in the Bank. But also, while Charlotte was backstage, this was happening in front of Nick Aldis's office, and out came from NXT the newest SmackDown Women's star, Julia. Now, I know you saw Julia with Roxanne on the past Raws, and the last Raw she told Roxanne that there is no way. So now we know why. Julia is the newest member of SmackDown. I can honestly say I see Julia rising to the top very, very fast. To get back also, R-Truth had a backstage interview with Wade Barrett, and Wade was pretty much saying the way John Cena treated him at the press conference. Like, friends don't do that, whatever. And R-Truth was like, whenever you down and out, just think about what John Cena said. Never give up. You got to live with hustle, loyalty, and respect, like John Cena. Never give up. And he was saying, the John Cena that did that wasn't the John Cena he grew up loving. And he said since it's not the John Cena that he remembers, that he knows, he's gonna try to beat some sense into him at Saturday night's main event. Now I feel like John Cena is calling his shots. John Cena is deciding who's he's gonna wrestle, when he's gonna wrestle him, and this is a great thing for John Cena to do, to give R-Truth give him his flowers. Because for years, R-Truth has been giving us the comedy, pretty good matches when it's serious. R-Truth is a great athlete, and I think John Cena's putting him in a position where he's going to be able to show him. I believe the match ends in some way, shape, or form with Cena being disqualified, making R-Truth look good, but also destroying wrestling for us. I think that Saturday night's main event is going to be pretty strong, at least with what's also going on that night. We also had DIY versus Fraxium, and that's another great thing. Like, if you've ever seen either of those tag teams, DIY are some of the best wrestlers in the business. Wrestlers, like, in between those roles, they are some of the top superstars in my opinion. Fraxium is just like highlight after highlight after highlight. Fraxium is a tag team that you will pay to see. Fraxium is the tag team that will make you tune in to USA on Friday night. They are quick, agile, and high flying, while DIY is more so the technical wrestlers. Man, there was so much going on. Hit the at one point Frazier hit a superplex to Gargano, got up into a brain buster, but before he hit the brain buster, he was super kicked by Axiom. Man, it was just like beautiful work, beautiful work. And also Ciampa hit his move on, I want to say it was Axiom or Nathan Frazier. I'm not sure. I don't remember. But it was a super kick before that led into that. Like, the double team action in this match was amazing. Nathan Frazier and Axiom were flying all over the ring. This match got all the oohs and ahs, all of them. It was, I would say, second best match of the night. It was a great match. I believe it ended in disqualification. I don't exactly remember. Or Fraxium won and DIY attacked him after the match, because then the Motor City Machine Guns would come out and save them from DIY, which left DIY retreating. And after that, we had Aleister Black versus Carmelo Hayes. And I said Fraxium versus DIY was second best match of the night. Thinking about it now, probably third because of the main event. Carmelo Hayes and Aleister Black, arguably best match of the night. Arguably best match of the night. Carmelo Hayes and Aleister Black were amazing. They both showed their offense. Carmelo Hayes showed character at the Miz ringside. It was an amazing match. Carmelo hit some of his best moves. Aleister Black hit some of his best moves. This match had just as much oohs and ahs as the tag match. This match had everyone in the arena invested. In my opinion, Carmelo Hayes should be the next Money in the Bank. Now, I know some people will say he's not ready to be a champion. He carried NXT when NXT was being reborn from what Vince destroyed it. Like, from NXT 2.0, Carmelo Hayes carried NXT to the point where essentially we are now. He's on the main roster for about a year now. So before he came to the main roster, he was a major part in building it back up. Him, Trick Williams, and Braun Breaker. This was a very good match. A lot of offense both ways. The Miz interrupted the match, and shortly after he interrupted, he received a black mask. During this match, before the Miz interrupted, he had Aleister Black flying off the top rope. You had Melo hit him with the suplex to the cutter. They both showed some of their best moves. That arsenal that Aleister has with his lethal kicks and fists, the WWE really, really knocked one out the park getting Aleister Black back. It was a great match. The Miz interrupted. Aleister Black hit him with a black mass, and shortly after that, Carmelo was back on him. Carmelo came off the ropes, hit him with a nothing but net, and that was all for these guys. Then we got a pre-taped Damian Priest promo. He was pretty much saying he been stuck in the Drew McIntyre vortex. How he just can't get rid of Drew McIntyre. But if you think about it, Drew McIntyre, throughout this entire run, Drew McIntyre has been telling the truth about everything that's happening. It's just people haven't been on Drew McIntyre's side. And I want to tell you, when Drew came out to respond, he was pretty much saying Priest was obsessed with him. Priest wish you could wear his skin for Halloween. And he was pretty much saying he was weird. And he even mentioned how he was still hurt, injured, whatever word you want to use, from being chokeslammed South of Heaven by Damian Priest at Backlash. And in Priest's promo, he said he wanted Drew McIntyre in a steel cage match. And of course, Drew McIntyre accepted. And going forward, Drew McIntyre has to win because Drew McIntyre has been this great. But it's one thing that was different than Drew McIntyre Friday night was Drew McIntyre had the fans. Greensboro, North Carolina was ecstatic to see him from his entrance to the time he got going in his promo to the end of his promo. This is the first time in quite some time that I feel Drew McIntyre had that face tight love from the crowd. It was surprising, being that I watch WWE every week and I haven't seen this kind of response to Drew in quite some time. The crowd was really into Drew McIntyre. If we base WWE off Friday night, Drew McIntyre is a face. But like I said, Drew McIntyre has been telling the truth since he lost his title to Damian Priest at WrestleMania, or WrestleMania 40, CM Punk. Since then, Drew McIntyre has been pretty much a heel, but he's been the heel that shouldn't be a heel, if you understand. Drew McIntyre has been the bad guy, but telling the truth at the same time. I like what Kevin Owens was, but that night he really got the crowd. He had the crowd in the palm of his hands. We had uh another promo from Shinsuke Nakamura. He was pretty much saying he went at LA Knight first, and it was like the classic Shinsuke promo where he's talking and it's being translated, and he's pretty much saying LA Knight's pretty much worthless without his title. How he's still going to get LA Knight, and he threw Aleister Black in it. And we will come to find out that they have a triple threat next week for Money in the Bank qualifier, which is going to be pretty interesting. And if I had to pick between those three, I mean, it makes sense for LA Knight or Aleister Black. I feel like Shinsuke takes the pin here. I think it's possible that Carmelo Hayes or The Miz take out Aleister Black, or they both do, because it seems like that's the current feud going right now. So LA Knight in a Money in the Bank makes sense, and LA Knight with the briefcase makes sense. So I believe that'll be pretty interesting. We also had Solo Sikoa versus Rey Phoenix versus Jimmy Uso. Now Solo Sikoa will come out. He had Jacob Fatu and JC Mateo with him. Rey Phoenix, his entrance was fucking amazing. Like, seeing it on TV and seeing it live is two different things. If you never watched wrestling or you never saw Rey Phoenix and you saw him for the first time and it was in person, probably even on TV also, you would think he was a bona fide superstar. Rey Phoenix entrance was fucking amazing. From the time you heard him say Animal to the time the lights hit on the stage to the pyro, him and Penta have the best entrances right now in WWE, in my opinion, other than, of course, Jey Uso. And by the way, Jey Uso, of course, not in attendance because he's a Monday Night Raw superstar. Throughout the night, the entire crowd would yeet. When they would show stuff during commercial breaks, like, it could be anything as simple as Jey Uso with the title, or Jey Uso doing something that behind the scenes, anything like that. One person yeet, the whole stadium yeeted. The whole arena, I'm sorry. There was yeeting, I would say about 6 to 7 times throughout the night, maybe even more. The stadium yeeted like he was coming out. I have never seen that before. Like, one thing I will say, like, at the beginning of the show, I guess people thought Cody would be there because they had special Greensboro Cody Rhodes shirts. I assumed he would be there because of the shirts. Of course, we didn't get any Cena, but two things we did see was the Cody Rhodes. We got those Euro chants a couple times, and we got the Let's Go Cena, Cena Sucks chant a couple times. But it was a lot of eating. And in this match, of course, JC Mateo and Jacob would play small parts. Rey Phoenix took them out at one point. At one point, Rey Phoenix went for a pin, and the ref didn't see it. The pin was on Solo. Rey Phoenix came from the top ropes flying and was caught by Solo Sikoa into a spinning Solo. Rey Phoenix caught a spear from Jimmy Uso. Jimmy Uso speared the hell out of him. It was pretty much balanced as far as offense for each competitor. I think Jimmy probably took the most offense. At one point, I know Rey Phoenix almost kicked Solo's head off with that little run he does across the ropes. I can't remember what it is, or I mean, what's the name of it. And this was really a great match. Not top 3, unfortunately, but it was good. Solo played to the audience perfectly. It was a lot of times he would stop. Like, what he's learned so far in the business, maybe it's working with Romo, or maybe it's just natural, or his father, or his brothers. Like, he plays to the audience very well. Whenever they would get hot, he would do something, throw his hands up, and just let the boos rain down. It was a great match. Solo would win with a spike. I believe it was on Rey Phoenix. LA Knight would come out again and take out Mateo. LA Knight got a chair, got on top of the announce table to back him off when they were about to attack him, which led to Nick Aldis coming out saying that this is SmackDown, so we handle our problems in the ring, which came with a match JC Mateo versus LA Knight. Now I said Cody got his chance, not there. Cena got a couple chances, not there. Jey Uso got chance all night, not in attendance. LA Knight had the biggest pop of the night. Every single punch was a yeah. The smashing the head on the announce table, yeah. I've never heard so many years, not even watching on TV. This reminded me a lot of his run leading up to fighting Roman Reigns, or like in the time when he was feuding with Logan Paul early on. LA Knight, from character and from crowd control, you would think he is the biggest star from that standpoint. You would think Rey Phoenix is the biggest star from an entrance standpoint. And this match, LA Knight got more offense than I expected because JC Mateo is a monster. JC Mateo was very physical, throwing LA around, but LA got a lot of offense. At one point, he had LA on the ring pole. He set him up and went for a crossbody LA move. And the way he smacked that pole, you would have thought he wasn't getting up because he definitely crossbodied the pole. LA Knight hit his elbow with the LA Knight elbow. I guess it's the elbow. When he hit that, crowd went crazy. Like the amount of yes he got throughout this night, period. Because he started off the show attacking him. He came out after that match attacking him. Led to the ring. Led to the match. And it was like, yes, the entire time. JC Mateo is a beast. I see him feuding in the near future with Jacob Fatu. At some point, I don't know if we're calling it a bloodline or not, because Mateo's not bloodline, but he's with Solo. At some point, this is going to break down, and he's going to have to do Solo's dirty work. Will he stop Fatu? I doubt it, because Fatu is on a whole nother level right now. And I'm sure at some point we're going to see Tama Tonga and Tangaloa come back, and there's even whispers of other members of the family, of the bloodline, coming up from NXT, or even Zilla from Reality of Wrestling, or wherever he is right now. So it was a pretty good match. Of course, a distraction here and there, but JC Mateo would get the win. And shortly after that match, this is the question. So we have Fraxium versus DIY. Great match. We have Aleister Black versus Carmelo Hayes. Great match. Which I think is my favorite match of the night, to a point. Because Tiffany Stratton versus Nia Jax was probably their best outing. It was very, very good match. Nia Jax was, of course, her dominant self. Tiffany Stratton got more offense than people normally get against Nia Jax. There was interference. Naomi, she came down with a chair, and before she could actually interfere in the match, Jade came out, took Naomi out, threw Naomi over the barricade, and gave chase to Naomi. So they were quickly in and out of the scene. At one point, Jax kicks out of the prettiest moonsault ever, and I believe they said it was the first time anyone's ever kicked out of the prettiest moonsault ever. Anaya would hit the Annihilator, and the way it happened was a lot like what happened to Lyra Valkyria a while back. She was going for the Annihilator, and Tiffany Stratton hopped up and tried to powerbomb. I'm not sure Tiffany's okay after that, because she went for the powerbomb. It didn't work out, and Nia Jax in some way hit the Annihilator, and you think it's over. The match is done. Nia's the winner. Nope. Tiffany Stratton grabs the ropes. The match is not quite done. Nia Jax grabs the tire as if she's leaving. The referee said, "Nah, you can't do that." Nia Jax hits the tire and grabs the chair. When she grabs the chair, Tiffany Stratton drop kicks her. And when I say she drop kicks, now live in the stadium or the arena from where I was at, I didn't see it live. I saw her drop kick the chair back in the Nia's face, but from the angle I was at, I couldn't see the blood. So when I watched it back and saw her busted open, like, and you could tell by the impact of the chair to Nia's skull that it was pretty crazy. It was like 98 Monday Night Raw type steel chair shot. It bounced off her face and busted her open. And Tiffany Stratton would win with the prettiest moonsault ever. I was very impressed with the night. I want to say the worst match I saw wasn't even on SmackDown. It was the speed match between Kalani and Ivy Nile. And I'm saying that's the worst match. It was only 2 minutes of some change. It's a speed match. Let's go for 3 minutes. The best match, I'm going to say was Carmelo Hayes versus Aleister Black. If you have time, go back and watch it. And then there's a toss-up between Fraction versus DIY and Tiffany Stratton versus Nia Jax, which I would probably say the women come out second place for the night. And going forward, we have John Cena versus R-Truth at Saturday night's main event. And we also have Damian Priest versus Drew McIntyre at Saturday night main event in a steel cage match. Of course, like I said, I see John Cena coming out, winning that, retaining his title in some kind of dirty fashion. I see Drew McIntyre beating Damian Priest, but I think like Drew McIntyre's got to do something to get his heel back. Like the way he was cheered Friday night on SmackDown was very surprising. So I think at Saturday night main event he's going to do something a little underhanded, and later on he'll probably say that Damian Priest deserved it. So far we have Alexa Bliss in the women's Money in the Bank, and we have Solo Sikoa in the men's. Now I did say I want Carmelo to be Money in the Bank. I don't know if he's going to be in a qualifying match, but I'm hoping he is. I can see LA Knight being Money in the Bank. I don't really see Aleister Black being Money in the Bank. But yeah, so far we have those two. I'm not exactly sure what's going to come out of DIY and Motor City Machine Guns, or like, are they going to continue feuding, or because next week we have Street Profits versus Fraction for the tag team titles. And if you don't remember, Fraction beat the Street Profits, although they weren't 100% coming out of the TLC match. But although I would like to see something surprising like Fraction beating the Street Profits deserve to hold the title a little longer. I wouldn't be surprised if we see a multi-man tag match at Saturday Night Main Event or sometime in the future, just for the simple fact that DIY and Motor City Machine Guns are still there. It's been a while since we've seen Pretty Deadly. I think they should be in the mix. I think it was a great show. Being in attendance, I would have gave it an A. Watching it back, I give it a B. I wanted to start a good, bad, and ugly, but I didn't see any ugly. The only bad was the speed match, and that's just because of the time limit, because Kalani's a great wrestler. Avinal is a great wrestler also. I think that was pretty much it for a solid SmackDown. I think one thing we're going to see coming out of this is Fatu versus Mateo. We're going to see The Miz and Melo feud with Aleister Black continue. I'm not sure if we're going to get LA Knight going after the title or where he's going to be, if he's going to continue feuding with Fatu or Solo. But it was a pretty good SmackDown. I was highly impressed being in the audience. I thought we would have Cody. I thought we would have Cena. We got neither of those, but the crowd was still ecstatic all night. Being in North Carolina, you know, this is Flair country. I didn't get as many woos as I expected, so this heel thing is really working for her. And I think Charlotte Flair is a great heel. Charlotte Flair needs to be a heel. Charlotte Flair is born to be a heel. And Julia got a pop, of course. Next week is, I believe it's Charlotte versus, I might be a little wrong with this. Charlotte versus Julia versus freeze. And triple threat match for the Money in Bank qualifier versus Zelina Vega. Yeah. I don't think Zelina wins because she has the US title. Of course Charlotte should win, but does Alexa screw her, or do they go into Money in Bank feuding? I would love personally for Julia to win. I'm very hot on Julia and Stephanie Vaquer. I think Stephanie Vaquer should be called up because the NXT women's roster is so deep. I feel like Stephanie Vaquer is championship ready. It's going to be an interesting time leading up to Saturday night's main event. I'm very interested to see what goes down with Solo and Jacob. I think Jacob's had enough, and Solo's really been antagonizing him lately, taking all the credit for his success. And like we still have Cena come in at some point, even though I saw that he's going to be at Raw before Money in the Bank. We have Cody coming back at some point. Our tribal chief Roman Reigns coming back at some point. It's been pretty good without them, which is always great when you can go on without your top stars on SmackDown. And Raw is much deeper with the heavy talent, the best talent, and it's 2 hours, 2.5 hours. So they're like squeezing all it in to make a great show when SmackDown's a lot longer. So I could see once SmackDown drops back to 2 hours, it competes with Raw more. Because that was I wouldn't even say a great show, but it's the best SmackDown in quite some time. Tonight, we got Monday Night Raw. About to prepare to watch that. And I should be back with a Raw recap tomorrow. Until then, it's been Everything Wrestling with Mr. Everything. See you soon.